Salutations upon all points. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So, like, the whole dying thing, right? Begins by shedding elements. Earth is the first element to be shed. So, in our culture, we see a culture of homeless people, right? But what we actually have is a culture of people in the process of dying that we have put out. The hospice is full, apparently. Now, some of these people might live another year, 2, 10, 20, but they have shed the material aspect of their life, the most earthly aspect of their body of light, which would be possessions that extend beyond the clothes on your back. Imagine a dying person. Usually you have somebody who's sick in a room, or an old person, and their possessions have been either in a will given to people, or they've been sold over time, etc., etc. They no longer have use for certain things. And so you have a person in a room with the clothes on their back, the bed, and the few images and artifacts they've carried with them. A man may die alone in the woods, but he may have his backpack or a book. He may have whatever, a ring, a necklace, something. But other than that, you have your physical body of earth. And then the fire and the rest begin to go. Now, the idea of a bodhisattva as a person coming back to help people. How much use of possessions does a person like that need? I've weighed that question out, because if one is alive, then one either chose to be here, or you were inexorably drawn because of something. But in either case, you wanted it. It wanted it. So the best way to go about living would be the best way to go about living. Now, from what I can tell, that is to help other people. Compassion is ethics, right? But helping people in a world that puts value on the dollar and not the act. Okay, money. We created money so that we didn't have to store the value of resources in one, spread out to each person. You could have the value of those resources and represented in the money you have. For some reason, I didn't get in an argument, but somebody was questioning me saying something about the gold standard and how it cost. Originally, the idea was it cost as much money to mine gold as it would to sell it, so that as much as an individual could get rich off of mining gold, you couldn't, as an industry, move in, mine gold, and make all the money. Because eventually you would have to spend the gold on things. You can't eat money, right? Well, so the dollar was made so that gold could be stored. And so if the dollar fluctuated, they could always fall back on the coin itself. You had gold, silver. Yes, people exploited this and took over certain areas and became rich, stripping the country of gold. That isn't what I was saying. What I was saying was the idea of it was to be equal. That's why they had a gold standard. I'm not saying any human idea has been achieved in perfection. That's silly. Now, I was just talking to somebody about our cup overflowing so that we may give unto others. Imagine they're at a tea party, only you get served, and if you let it overflow, you can pour from your plate into others, not from your cup, from your plate, because your cup overfloweth. This is the idea of charity, and all this shit is that you feed yourself first, and then you feed other people. But you don't feed them from your cup. I've lived kind of Diogenes, where he viewed even having the cup as a burden, okay? Which hasn't left me with much of an overflow, as it were. So, I become the burden of others. The way I was talking to him was that in the garden, people think it's all sunlight that keeps a plant alive. But it's not sunlight, necessarily, that keeps it alive. It's what keeps it thriving to bloom. The roots of a plant will survive in shade because of the mycelia kingdom beneath it will move nutrients from root to root that need it. So, in my garden, morning glories shroud the bottom because I don't want weeds growing places. But I also like the idea of the sunflowers holding up the morning glories to shade the moonflowers so that they can bloom in the day. It's a whole thing. But if I'd cut them sunflowers and take out the morning glories, all the plants that would be there, that are there, would grow. That's what a gardener can do, is shape the garden. My garden is ordered chaos, okay? Because most people don't let anything grow to fruition, let alone let nature do it itself. We harvest the things that we need, okay? So it's beauty and utility that we breed, and that's fine. I'm about that. And that's kind of the full circle of what my beef is that we have the ability to have an extreme amount of control over reality. We are, as well as now it's happening, okay? The dream of controlling everything. We are controlling everything. There is so many of us in any given spot that us working together with minimal effort could pull off just about anything. We just are working cyclical jobs, feeding Ouroboros habits, destroying this desire, feeding this desire we have. So we started talking about the idea of reincarnation, and I told a story of a man, the fable of the man dying, desiring grapefruit upon death, and he was born as a fly so that he could drink the grapefruit. He relayed to me a story of a man dying in either hospice or a crack house somewhere, and the guy wanted just one more hit, just one ringer. And I was like, oh, so he's going to come back as a crackhead. again. But what the dude thought of was ringer, as in bell, as in he was like, dude, this dude's gonna come back as the Liberty Bell, or worse, he's gonna come back at the Liberty Bell, clean cracked out, dude. It was just beautiful. I did because the resonating. We're talking about vessels holding a resonance. You're a human being, but your ego tells you what you are because memory implants of the past, man. Because we were talking about, he was saying, it all started with him saying this, and the Baphomet thing, and wrestling the angel. He had experience of seeing like the devil or whatever, and it was like, here, just sign on the dotted line type of thing. And he said he refused, and he was put in a box. And then after he broke through his mind prison within the box, he was outside of the box. Like, the box is yourself, your mind, that you'll either give in to temptation, or you'll become I was talking to the whole not fragile, broken, which is me referencing kintsugi, which is Japanese, the art of fixing something with gold. It make you the bonds that were broken, they they pour gold into it, and it's the stronger where it was broken. It is just very. If you broke the clip shell, the light shines through. It's a similar image. And like the idea of a demiurge, as opposed to just. So like a willing test that we put ourselves in this game willingly. So because if reality is the chessboard and we're playing against the demiurge, we have to understand that we can get up and walk out of the room whenever we want. We choose, or are tricked into playing the game over and over again, for whatever reason. So, and as soon as he said that, I had the flashed in my head the guy from The Invisibles, who I didn't ever really know what to call him. Like, yeah, they kind of act like he's the devilish guy, but the idea of him being the demiurge, holy shit, that changes so much for me. Not changes it, expands. Just his interest in Jack, and because what you have to realize, Neo, is that you choosing to fight is part of the game. Neo, fight. It's like, that is how the game exists. So when they talk about, is when the revolution going to be here? The revolution is a constant thing. The Matrix exists so that the revolution can be perpetually endless. The idea in the Matrix movie is us ending the idea of a revolution in service of creation. Because if we're not tearing the system down, what are we doing? We're building it back up. And you can't tear things down forever. You can constantly tear things down while you constantly fix them in a nice dualistic world. You can, over time, destroy things and then repair them from scratch for another long period of time. Or you can transcend the ideas completely into another form. creating something out of the two that wasn't possible by removing one or limiting one. You actually need the expanse of destruction. And if it's not destruction of the entire system that's helping, what is it that we're supposed to destroy in lieu of that, you might ask? And to that question, I would suggest looking into the mirror. Because in the mirror, you will find all you need. The only adversary you'll ever have to search for, and the most cunning and ruthless one you'll ever know. Because the cat in the mirror won't only lie to you, the cat in the mirror will tell you they are you. And who will you protect more than anyone, if not yourself? So if the adversary has you protecting them from the beginning, how do you stand a chance? The only way to win the game is not to play, right? But what if you like playing games? See, that's the other thing, is that intelligence is the ability to choose between, right? And when you get to a point of life like mine, it is like that because I did not choose A, B. And when you don't choose, the choices disappear. The wave form of reality is going to be which droplet is there doesn't matter. The energy moves through. So viewing yourself as a droplet in the whole, if you're not in a position, you not being there will create a vacuum that will pull in something else. Okay. Now the fact that it's not exactly like you won't change the function of the wave, but it may change the experience of the droplets around it. Because the even colors next to each other change the way other colors next to them look. So if you get a block of 9 colors and you begin to change the colors on the outside 9, the one in the middle can begin to change different colors. It's just a weird thing our eyes do. Now the colors are the archetypes of an experience. I mean, in life, changing a person out and having them there or not there can greatly affect how people feel or what those things do. Because again, they can all evaporate out together or staying there forever as droplets. And if they evaporate out, other droplets will fill their place. If they stay in there forever, they stay in there forever. And that might be like, well, no, well, then whatever happens, happens, and no matter what, no matter what. And that's true. That's duh. Hey, welcome. But for the player in the game, that changes your experience a lot. So, if you don't have a cup, you can't even begin to either have it filled by the man who pours the tea or given to you by those more compassionate ones who have it, right? So I've just viewed most people in like not self-help, but like self-help, help yourself stuff, do it that will stuff, magic, even Kabbalah to an extent, is that these are charlatans, parrots, and they offer nothing but regurgitated bullshit. Somebody saying love and light over and over again is only useful in the sense that lightning bugs flash when they see other lightning bugs flash. So the synchronicity or wave pattern is repeated, and that's great. But feeling it is important, more important than saying it. Because what it comes down to is here, look at my wealth of information. Look at what I have. Look at it. Sees it? Oh my great, whatever it is. If I had gold, I would just show you the gold. Oh, here. This makes more sense. Okay, guys. What I want to talk about today is a little something about how you make the most out of making the most. Okay, guys? So what they do is they flash wealth of some kind. Knowledge, money, something. The place where they're at is really cool. Really cool statues, man. Really cool waterfall. Great art. Look how fucking pretty this resort is. You can come here. Dude, totally. Yeah. Love and light. We're here. I actually built this place to help people see the love and light in the world. Yes. Totally true. Totally true. All you need to do is give me... how much do you make a year? Because depending on that, I got a great deal for you. A special. You give me that, I'll tell you all about love and light. And listen, man, I get it. We all need to eat. I get that most people can't show that they value something unless they actually spend money on it, because money is the thing they value. I get that. But I still can't get a cup and hold it out and say, I love you. I'll teach you everything I know. Give me more. So, what I've come to say is I fucking hate you, dude. So goddamn much. As much as I hate this guy. We're silly, we're lazy, petulant children. I smell us no matter what I do. We lie, we cheat, we steal, and I cannot fucking stand it anymore. So, I've done what little I could to expose how selfish, needy, and broken I am as a person. Now, I'm doing this because slowly but surely I don't feel broken or angry or lonely as much anymore. I'm aware of the feelings. I've sat with them for a long time, but like everything, changes come and they fade. And during all of this, I've done a lot of different things. Played a lot of different weird games and pushed things far out. Like, I wouldn't recommend it, let's say. Fools leap where angels dare to tread. Now, this can either be a learning lesson for everybody, or I can take all of this with me and just fade out. Because the swollen goat is parked and ready to go at any moment. Enduring the duration is has always been a choice. The way the world's moving, the way that the idea gods that are dominating the human minds are focusing in on creating a vessel that we can control the way it feels, thinks, and perceives the world. Call it artificial, call it the AI, brain melding, having a system that can mimic the memory storage of a human brain.